Some people panic the moment a conversation goes quiet. Others barely notice it, and a few can make an entire room feel comfortable without saying a word. Today, we're ranking all 16 MBTI personality types using what I call the hierarchy of silence. At the bottom are the tension breakers, the types who instinctively fill the quiet. In the middle are the social navigators. They notice the silence, read the room, and decide whether it actually needs to be broken. And at the top, sanctuary. These personalities don't just tolerate silence, they naturally feel at home in it. Every placement comes down to two things. First, how comfortable each type is when conversation goes quiet, and second, how skillfully they handle that silence when they choose to respond. Drop your type below. Let's get into it. Beginning our list at number 16, ESFJ. For ESFJs, silence isn't just uncomfortable, it's information. Specifically, it's information that something is wrong with the relationship. The moment a conversation goes quiet, the ESFJ's internal alarm fires. Someone is upset, or bored, or I said something wrong, or this is my fault, or all of the above. So anyway, how's your family doing? Are you hungry? We could get food. Do you want to talk about something? Because we can absolutely talk about something. This is the tension breaker tier at its most visible. The silence doesn't just get filled, it gets buried under an avalanche of warmth and follow-up questions. ESFJs aren't bad at social situations. They're so invested in the social situation that silence reads as a malfunction they're personally responsible for fixing. Number 15, ENFJ. ENFJs handle silence differently from ESFJs. They're not panicking, they're problem-solving. The moment the room goes quiet, they read the energy, assess who looks uncomfortable, and engineer a conversational pivot designed to make everyone feel better. Which sounds great, except they do this even when the silence didn't need fixing. I just want to make sure everyone's feeling okay. What does everyone think about completely new topic? The handling efficiency here is genuinely high. The comfort level is low enough that they intervene prematurely, breaking silences that were just pauses, rescuing conversations that had simply found their natural breath. Still tension breaker tier, but the most socially skilled version of it.
Number 14, ENFP. ENFPs don't experience silence as a social threat, so much as a conversational vacuum, and vacuums in their world are meant to be filled with whatever comes to mind first. Okay, so this is kind of random, but I just thought of something. Do you think fish know they're wet? Like, conceptually. The nervous energy here isn't anxiety exactly. It's more like verbal momentum that can't find a reason to stop. ENFPs process out loud, which means silence is genuinely unnatural for them. The gap between thought and speech is very small. The gap between speech and silence is smaller still. Number 13. ESFP. ESFPs are fully alive in social interaction, which means silence feels less like a pause and more like the show has temporarily stopped. Why is it quiet? Are we good? Should we put music on? I feel like we should put music on. They're not anxious about silence, so much as genuinely puzzled by it. ESFPs are present moment processors who thrive on energy exchange, and silence is, by definition, a reduction in energy exchange. They'll fill it fast, usually with something entertaining, and the room is generally better for it. They're just not capable of sitting in it for long. Number 12, INFP. Here's where it gets interesting. INFPs are internally very comfortable with silence. They live in a rich inner world where quiet is genuinely welcome. The problem is external perception. INFPs are also sensitive enough to worry that the other person is uncomfortable, or that the silence is being read as awkwardness, or that they should be doing something to help. I'm actually fine with this, but are you fine with this? Because if you're not fine with this, I can say something. I just don't know what to say. Internally, INFPs are perfectly comfortable with silence. Socially, though, they often slip into tension breaker behavior because they're more concerned about everyone else's comfort than their own. The silence is manageable. The meta-awareness of the silence is less so.
Entering the next tier, social navigators. These personalities don't rush to fill silence. They read it first. For them, silence becomes a social tool, not a social emergency. Number 11. ISFJ. ISFJs are conflict-averse enough that silence, especially after any kind of tension, registers as something that needs to be smoothed over quickly. So, do you want some tea? I can make tea. I feel like tea would be good right now. In genuinely neutral silences, ISFJs can sit quietly without too much difficulty. But any ambiguity in the silence, any possibility that it means something interpersonally, triggers the same smoothing instinct that defines their relationship to conflict broadly. They break it to be safe, not because they can't stand the quiet. Number 10. ESTP. ESTPs read rooms faster than almost anyone, which means they know immediately whether a silence is awkward, comfortable, or strategically useful. So, different question. What are we actually doing tonight? They break silence efficiently, with purpose, and usually with something that moves the situation forward, rather than just filling the void. This is classic social navigator behavior at its most practical. ESTPs aren't uncomfortable in silence, they just don't find it interesting, and they have a low threshold for things that aren't interesting. Number 9. ENTP. ENTPs use silence the way they use most social tools, strategically, with the option to deploy it for effect when it suits them. I'm going to let that sit for a second. They're comfortable enough in quiet to let it breathe, and skilled enough socially to break it in ways that redirect the conversation exactly where they want it. The one limitation is that ENTPs occasionally fill silence for entertainment value because they've thought of something funny and the silence is as good an audience as any. Mostly social navigator, occasionally tension breaker by choice. Number 8. ESTJ. ESTJs don't experience silence as awkward, they experience it as inefficient, which is a different problem, but still a problem. Alright, so next item. They break silence with purpose and no particular emotional charge. If the room is quiet, it's because no one has identified what needs to be said yet, and ESTJs are happy to identify it. Solid social navigator. The handling efficiency is high, the comfort level is reasonable, and their response is always task-oriented rather than anxiety-driven. Number 7. ENTJ. ENTJs don't really experience awkward silence because they don't give silence the opportunity to become awkward. They either own it deliberately, using it as a power move, or they end it with something purposeful before the awkwardness has time to develop. Take your time, I'll wait. That sentence delivered by an ENTJ is not reassuring. It is a demonstration of complete comfort in the quiet that makes the other person significantly more uncomfortable. ENTJs have discovered that silence can be a tool, and they use it accordingly. High on both dimensions, approaching the highest tier on this list while retaining full social control. Number 6. ISFP. ISFPs are naturally quiet and entirely self-contained, which means they bring a specific quality to silence that most types can't replicate. They make it feel okay. We don't have to talk. I'm good just being here. There's no performance of comfort, no strategic deployment of quiet. ISFPs are genuinely at ease, and that ease has a way of spreading to whoever they're with. The silence doesn't feel like a void because ISFPs don't treat it like one.
Now we've reached the final tier, sanctuary. From here on, the awkwardness disappears. These personalities don't just manage silence, they naturally make it feel comfortable. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying this. We do this every week. Now, let's meet the 5 personalities most at home in the quiet. Number 5. INFJ. INFJs are deeply attuned to social dynamics. They feel the emotional texture of a room, including the emotional texture of its silences. Most people assume that sensitivity means discomfort. For INFJs, it means accuracy. This silence is fine. Let it breathe. INFJs can read whether a silence is comfortable, loaded, or genuinely awkward, and respond accordingly. When it doesn't need to be broken, they don't break it. When it does, they break it with precision. That's not the same as being good at enduring silence. It's being good at knowing what silence actually is, which is a more sophisticated skill. And the reason INFJs rank this high, despite being among the most socially aware types on the list. Number 4. ISTJ. For ISTJs, silence is simply neutral. Not comfortable, not uncomfortable, just the absence of conversation, which is a perfectly acceptable state of affairs. I don't feel the need to fill every pause. They break silence when there's something worth saying. When there isn't, they don't. There's no internal negotiation about whether the silence means something interpersonally, no monitoring of the other person's reaction, no anxiety about what's being communicated by the quiet. Silence is just what happens between things that matter. Clean, functional sanctuary tier.
Number 3. INTP. INTPs don't notice awkward silence, not because they're socially oblivious, but because silence is where they live. Oh, were we supposed to be talking? I was thinking about something. When a conversation goes quiet, an INTP has typically already moved into their internal processing space and may not register that the silence has been going on for 30 seconds. The concept of silence being awkward requires a certain level of ambient social anxiety that INTPs largely don't carry. They're not managing the silence, they're using it. Sanctuary tier, fully occupied with inner content that makes the outer quiet irrelevant. Number 2. INTJ. INTJs find the concept of awkward silence faintly puzzling, like a social rule that everyone else seems to have agreed to but nobody explained. I don't understand why silence needs to be filled. What's the actual problem? They're not being difficult. They genuinely don't experience the discomfort that makes silence feel like something that needs resolving. INTJs can sit in quiet indefinitely and occasionally use silence as a deliberate signal, a way of communicating that they have nothing to add, that the topic has run its course, or that they're still processing and will speak when they're ready. Deep sanctuary tier. The silence is productive space, not empty space. And finally, topping our list at number 1, ISTP. ISTPs take the top spot for the most straightforward reason on this list. The concept of awkward silence is essentially foreign to them. Silence is their default. Conversation is the thing that requires effort. ... That's the quote. Not because ISTPs are dismissive, but because in a comfortable silence, an ISTP might not have anything to add, and they see no reason to add something just because other people seem to expect it. There's no internal alarm, no social monitoring, no sense that the quiet is communicating anything beyond the absence of something worth saying. ISTPs don't handle awkward silence. They simply don't produce it. And in the rare case that they're in a silence other people find awkward, they'll sit in it calmly for as long as it takes, which usually ends with the other person giving up and saying something first. Deepest sanctuary tier. The silence is just Tuesday. So where did your type land? Drop it in the comments. And be honest, are you someone who genuinely doesn't mind the quiet? Or have you ever said something absolutely unhinged just to fill a silence and immediately regretted it? And here's the question that's going to cause the most debate. Do you think silence tolerance is something you're born with or something you can build? Because a lot of the types at the bottom of this list could move up significantly with the right mindset, and that's worth talking about. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We do this every week. And remember, not every silence needs to be filled. Sometimes the most socially intelligent thing you can do is just let it breathe.